and welcome to episode 3 of Drumming for Wellbeing. It's lovely to see you back again. I have to warn you, I've got hiccups today, so they'll probably keep cropping up as we go along. We'll keep going with the rhythm that we've been learning before, but let's start off with a little rhythmic jam today. Have you got your drum? Ready, steady, off we go. That's the most important part of any rhythm. But if you want to, try something else. Do you remember last week's rhythm? It goes, I like to play Fanga rhythms. It's all flooding back. A little bit of call and echo. I'll play, you play. So come in right after me. We ready? Here we go. I'll do something simple to start. Great, so we're all warmed up. Let's do a little bit of drumming skill practice, because as much as we're learning patterns, there's also some really good just hand exercises that we can do with our drums that just help our general level of drumming skill. And that then enables us later on to go on to make up our own rhythms, because we instinctively will understand rhythm more deeply. So today, how about thinking in a count of 4? So 1, 2, 3, 4. And what we'll do is we'll move around the numbers and put the emphasis on a different number each time. For example, if we start with number 1, let's play 1 in the middle of the drum. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you'll see my hands are going right, left, right, left. So see if you can drum along with that. You'll see one hand's just doing that, and the other one is filling in the gaps. So it's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. The weight's on the 1, 2, 3, 4. So far, so easy, right? Now we're going to shift it so the weight's on the 2, but still keeping it right, left. So this time it's the left hand that gets to go in and out. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now my left hand always takes a lot longer to do what I want it to than the right hand does. So in any of this, don't worry if it feels odd or it feels confusing. That's a sign that your body's learning something and your brain's learning how to operate that bit of you. So we'll try it again. So it's right, left, right, left. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And notice how that makes the rhythm feel a bit different. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, realise this is probably reversed in the video, but you know what I mean. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. Now you can pause the video here and take as long as you like just to practice and practice that difference between 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's move on to 3. Even if I can do it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's a similar movement to when you were doing 1, but if you're doing the counting with it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the baked potato song's been doing well, hasn't it, this week? So it sounds like baked potato to me. If we were putting words with it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, you can pause there if you want and just practice what it feels like to put that weight on the 3, and you know what's coming next. We're going to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's back to your other hand again. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Shall I slow it down? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, compare that with 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I switch it round, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, don't worry if this isn't happening for you, that's fine. This is just an exercise that sometimes it helps us to become better drummers, and for some people I know the numbers thing just does not work. So that's often why we use words to help us remember rhythms. But for some of us it does, and sometimes you might find it feels kind of weird and confusing at the start, but then the longer you go on, the easier it gets. And the more it just gives us a different sense of where the beat is in the rhythm. And we'll come back to that point a little bit later as we go. So the next thing I'd like to think about today is, again, back to this idea of drumming and well-being. So here we are taxing our brains and our hands doing drumming, but what does it do for us? So in our links this week, as well as the play along track, I've also included 2 more links. One is the link to another research paper for those of you who are interested, that again is about the benefits of drumming and mental health. So this was a study done in 2018, and the one we talked about previously was quite medical. So it was looking at what changed, what, you know, within you and within your kind of hormones. And this one was actually done through talking to people and asking them how they felt in drumming. And it was people who were mental health service users. And they came up with 6 different categories of what drumming did for them by the end of it. First one, maybe the most obvious, was people felt happier mentally and actually physically. The act of playing just released something physically. Second one was what you call agency, or means having a sense of being able to take initiative in life and having a bit of control over some things. So being able to actually, you know, do something and get it right and choose what to do. And linked to that was the third one, which was a sense of accomplishment, of actually having done something well. I maybe found it difficult for a bit, but I got there in the end. And that it does make us feel proud inside. And then after that, there came, for number 4, a sense of engagement. So often when people are drumming, it's been said to me a lot of times, oh, when I was drumming, a lot of things just went to the side of my head. I wasn't thinking about all the kind of stuff I normally think about. I actually was just focusing on the drumming. And if there's a lot going on for you, then sometimes that's, you know, it's lovely to have a holiday from what's going on in there. So there's 2 left on our list of things that people came up with. The next one was a positive identity. So again, rather than being a person who stuff happens to or who has difficulties, you know, that then changes into being a student or being somebody who does music. Like, your identity is bigger than just the stuff that happens to you as well, so you get to claim that. And then the last one, which is difficult at this time, but was social well-being, that ability to be with other people and be in a group. And if nothing else, if you keep doing this drumming, you'll be able to go and sit in on a drumming group if you want to. And I believe the Drum for Your Life group is still going on online with the Recovery College, so do check on their Facebook page if you did feel like you want to jump into that and have a go. So now it's time to get back to work and to our rhythms from the rhythm Fanga. So you remember the one from last time? I like to play Fanga rhythms. I'll press the button on the machine and let's isolate that one. Let's just play it round a couple of times. I like to play Fanga rhythms. Great. Now I might talk about certain hands to use, and you know what, nobody can see you, so use whatever hand you like. So the idea is just get that feeling of what's happening in the rhythm. So there's rhythm 2. With that are play the drums, can you play the drums, can you play the drums, can you play the drums. So in a sense it's a really short, simple sentence. It's shorter than the previous rhythm, can you play the drums, except the tricky bit is that we actually start halfway through that sentence. And this is the very clever bit about how these rhythms fit together. Is that the emphasis, you remember we were changing the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, changing that emphasis around. So by starting our phrase on play the drums, can you play the drums, da da bum, da 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 da. It means, you know, that bit in the music, da da da. If I put them all up for a minute, and if you were to tap your foot, heavy beat. Play the drums, can you play the drums? So it's a sense of starting our rhythm on that kind of heaviest note, and that's the easiest way, if we ever get lost and fall off the rhythm, to find our way in, is to look for that because that's where we jump back into the rhythm. So let's break it down. We'll do a little close-up for you again. Okay, let's break this down. So we're talking about, I'll describe it with the right hand, and then maybe I'll play it once with the opposite hand as well. So this is going to be so that you can mirror it. So the first thing would be play the drums. So that's right, right, left. In fact, let's do a few of those. Play the drums, play the drums, play the drums. If you're left-handed, play the drums, play the drums. Then all we've got to put in is can you, which is right, left. So it goes play the drums, can you 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 right, right, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, right, right, left. So the reason we're talking about left and right like this is that drummers are actually very lazy, and we want to do the minimum amount of movement possible, and the minimum amount of thinking extra things about where we put our hands. So a lot of drumming patterns actually are based around that movement. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Except when we get skilled at it, we're just imagining those left, right. Or sometimes when you see people's hands moving like that, they're called ghost notes. So let me try and play that pattern and exaggerate my movements a bit so that you can see it. So as well as helping our hands move left, right, it also helps keep us in time as well, rather than we're not having to think of that pause so much because our hands are filling in the spaces. And again, if that feels like too much just now, just ignore it. So you've got that rhythm. Let's put them together with the others. So this week, and in our play along track this week, I've given you the track with this rhythm turned up in the mix so that you can hear how it fits with the other one. So let's bring the other rhythms in just now. If you want to, keep playing. Keep it going, and I'll bring the others in. Play the drums, can you play the drums, can you play the drums, can you play the drums? Starts to get more confusing. So again, where's the Here we go, final jam. Even I got it wrong. But it's fine. If it all feels like too much, now's the time to just play along. Do a bit of mental switching between the two rhythms. So the first one, I like to play Fanga rhythm. I like to play Fanga rhythm. It's still there. So we've been to one. Let's go back to play the drums. Can you play the drums? Great. Thanks ever so much for joining us for this week, and we'll be back again next week with part 3, which is it's a very easy thing, but it's also very hard. So that'll keep you guessing. Till then, lovely to see you again. See you next week. Bye bye.